Hey, hi, hello, and welcome to class. My name's Nora, and today we're going to bring you to your peak crow pose, or that's the goal at least. So today we will be using a couple of drills to activate the lower core and bring attention to the arms, and then we'll bring in a ladder flow that is still practicing the skills of crow without actually doing crow. Towards the end of the flow, then, we will focus on how to get into crow pose in a way that creates the strongest foundation for your strongest crow pose. Now, if you've never done crow before, if you've never been able to get your feet up, I do recommend that you go back and take a look at my foundational crow class because we go over how to use the hands and the forearms to set up a really strong foundation. We are going to talk about those skills today, so make sure that you've got an idea of what I'm talking about by taking that first class. We do need some props for today. So we'll need two blocks. If you don't have yoga blocks at home, you might use a rectangular Tupperware container. You might use a small shipping box if you've got one at home. You can even use a lightweight book. We also need a towel or a blanket. You can also use a sweatshirt. That's what I'm going to use today. We're going to be sliding around on the floor a little bit. So if you have wood floor, if you have linoleum floor, if you have some kind of slippery floor, you do want to be practicing on that today. So when you've gathered your materials, you can go ahead and start the playlist and we'll begin. So let's begin today's class in a seat for child's pose. So bring your big toes to touch, sit on your heels, and then take your knees about as wide as your mat. From here, let's stretch the arms all the way overhead, lengthen through your side bodies, and then hook your thumbs, but bring your other 8 fingers to touch. Take one more big inhale, lengthening up through the armpits. Exhale, hinge from the hips and come all the way down to the floor in a traditional child's pose. So you might bring the knife edge side of those hands down, and then the forehead comes down to the earth. Now, karate chop your hands into the floor. Keep your elbows and your armpits lifting up. Big breath in. Big breath out. Let's take another 2 like that. Just allowing whatever came before this moment to fade into the background of your mind and allowing the breath and the feelings inside the body to become more central to what you're paying attention to. Take one more breath here. Empty out. Gently release the unhooking of your thumbs and open your palms up to the sky so the backs of your hands are touching the mat. Make fists with your hands, and then keeping your hands touching the floor, start to just circle the backs of the hands as if you were kind of scrubbing this very small area with the backs of the hands. And this is just starting to open up the shoulder blades and all of the muscles around the upper spine. Reverse your circles, scrub the opposite direction. Lovely. Flip your palms back over. Start to walk your hands back towards your knees. If your feet are feeling uncomfortable underneath you like this, you can always switch to cross-legged, but we're going to start by warming up the wrists. Since crow pose is a lot of weight on the hands, we want to make sure the wrists are adequately prepared for what we're asking them to do today. We begin with 2 mixing bowls next to us. Stick your hands into those mixing bowls. The pinky edge side of each hand is your spatula, and you're simply scraping the insides of those bowls. Keep your fingers spread wide, and as best as you can, make full, complete circles with your fingertips. We're here for another 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come back to center. Now the thumb edge side of your hand is the spatula, and you're scraping again the interior of those bowls. 10 fingers spread wide. Take another 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Make fists. Circle your wrists. Now, as we do this wrist warm-up, you're going to start to feel a burning sensation in the wrists and the forearms. That's right where we want to be. We want to make sure those muscles are firing. Reverse your circles. We want to make sure those muscles are firing before we have to put a lot of weight on the wrists. Beautiful. All right, walk yourself out to tabletop. So hands underneath the shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. Take a look at your elbow creases. Elbow creases. Swivel your elbow creases forward to face the top of the mat and then in towards each other. And what we're doing here is rotating the upper arm bones. Your palms stay planted on the earth, just the elbows are swiveling. Now, notice as you're swiveling the elbows, look at the space between your thumb and your index finger. That part of the palm generally likes to lift up, especially when we're moving the upper arms, right? When we're rotating the upper arms. So notice if you can glue that webbing between your thumb and your index finger down and keep it down as you're swiveling these elbows for last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Keep your elbow creases pointing forward. Inhale, lift the heels of your palms up so that they stack over your knuckles. Palms are off the floor. And then exhale, lower back down. A couple of wrist push-ups here. Inhale to lift, exhale to lower. Now, as you lift the wrists up, your shoulders will want to move back in space. Notice this tendency. Try to keep your shoulders stacked right over the wrist. It's going to add more intensity to this, and that's exactly what we want. Now, if you took the Foundations of Crow class, kind of the precursor to this class, you know that for crow pose, we want to keep our forearms vertical. You want to keep the elbows stacked over the wrists. So this prep that we're doing right here, we're prepping for that eventuality in crow by keeping the shoulders on top of the wrists. We're here for last 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice. All right, from here, turn your fingertips back towards your knees. You have 2 options here. You can simply rock forward and back, or you can stay in one place and bend your elbows back towards your knees. Either one is fine. All 10 fingers are still spread wide. Push your knuckles behind your hands, or pardon me, behind your fingertips down into the floor. See if you can feel at least all 8 knuckles behind your regular fingers pushing into the floor. Maybe even you can feel your thumb knuckles pushing down into the floor as well. One more breath in. One more breath out. Final piece of this wrist warm-up. Come back to center. Flip your palms up. Turn your fingertips in towards each other. Now, if at any point your wrists are bothering you, you feel like you've put too much strain on the wrist, this is a great stretch just to relieve any immediate overwhelming sensation in the wrists. So remember to use this if you need it. Beautiful. Let's walk back to tabletop, palms on the earth. Let's push back to child's pose again, but this time keep your knees pointing forward so they're not quite as wide. They're in line with your hips. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. With your inhale, come up to tabletop, but keep your spine rounded. So finding a cat back as the shoulders stack over the wrists. Exhale, push back to child's pose. Now we're mimicking the shape of crow pose in both of these postures. We've got a long rounded spine. And as we push back to child's pose, we're finding the deep knee and deep hip flexion that we'll use in crow pose. Inhale to cat back. Push the floor away through your shins and your palms. Exhale, back to child's. Let's do 2 more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, sit. One more time. Back of the heart lifts to the sky. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, come up to cat back. Keep your cat back, but tuck your toes under. Start to hover your knees just 1/4 of an inch off the floor. Keep pushing the floor away through the palms so that the upper back is lifted, protracted. And then take a look at those elbow creases. Can you spin them forward? Lovely. Look at the webbing between thumb and index finger. Ground that down. Now, as you've been noticing your foundation, have you lost the back of the heart lifting up into protraction? Breathe. And then start to notice your tailbone. Your low back is rounded here, and your tailbone is pointing down towards the backs of the knees. We're going to use that alignment a lot today, so notice what that feels like in the low belly and the low back. Strong core engagement through the low belly. Big breath in. Big breath out. Final breath in here. Exhale, drop your knees. So from here, we're going to come into a couple of drills just to really solidify the core engagement, lock into place the upper body positioning, and work on that tucking of that tailbone towards the backs of the knees that we just worked in bear pose. So we'll start by folding up our mats. I like to double fold because I like a little bit more padding for my hands, a little bit more padding for the wrists. You can also just choose to double fold instead, and that's fine. It's really up to you. We'll need to bring our blanket in. We're going to place this behind the mat. And the last thing we need is a block. We're going to place this between the upper thighs. So step your knees onto your blanket and place your palms on your mat. So we're in a tabletop position. Look down at your palms, glue down the webbing between the thumb and the index finger. Wrap your elbow creases to point forward. And then imagine that you have a block between the upper arms that you're also squeezing together so that upper body stays in place. Hug your heels up towards your glutes and then point your toes. Squeeze your big toes to touch like we're going to do crow pose. But that's not where we're headed right now. With the inhale, we're going to slide the knees back towards a supported plank. Now, before you do so, check in with the shoulders. Make sure that they stay stacked over the wrists. We're not headed here. This is not what we're looking for. Instead, you're going to keep shoulders stacked, big breath in, slide the knees back so that you create one long line of energy from the heads of the shoulders down to the knees on the floor. With the exhale, lift your low belly, slide your knees towards your wrist creases. Think tailbone towards backs of knees. Okay, that's one. We got 4 more. Inhale, push back through the palms, slide the knees back, squeeze your glutes. Hips aren't sagging here. Your inner thighs are squeezing, your low belly's lift. Exhale, knees towards the wrists, tuck tailbone towards backs of knees. Let's do another 3. Inhale, send it back. Exhale, pull. Inhale, push it back. Shoulders stay stacked. Exhale, knees slide to wrist creases. One more. Inhale, push back. Belly's on. Exhale, knees towards the wrist creases. Woo! Set your toes down. Come off of your blanket and push the blanket further back. We're going to step our toes onto this now and come into a plank pose. Plank pose. So same upper body positioning, all 10 fingers spread wide. Elbow creases point forward. Push the floor away. Keep the upper back domed. Take a big breath in through the nose. Exhale, bend your knees. Pull back with your hands. Slide your feet towards your wrist. Try to pull your knees between your upper arms. Woo! Exhale, inhale, we slide the feet back. Plank pose. Notice the upper body doesn't move at all. 4 more. Exhale, knees between the upper arms. Pull them through the elbows. Inhale, send it back. Check in, elbow creases point forward, push down between thumb and index finger. Exhale, pull the knees between the elbows. Inhale, push back. Last 2. Exhale, knees to elbows. Inhale. Last round, knees to elbows. Inhale, plank. Exhale, set your knees down, walk yourself back. You can remove your block if your wrists are feeling sore like mine are. Backs of the hands to the mat, fingertips point towards each other. Little rocking side to side. If you need more weight, bring your hands further away from your knees. Bring your shoulders over your wrists. It's going to add a little bit more pressure. Beautiful. Release the wrist stretch. Release your feet from on top of your blanket. You can set that blanket off to the side. We won't really need it for the rest of practice. Your block you can set off to the side as well and unfold your mat. Make sure that your blocks are still within reaching distance, especially if you know you like to have a block nearby for crow pose. That might be something you want to bring in. We're going to start to flow a little bit. We're going to create a ladder flow that eventually brings us up to some crow prep and some funky variations for crow. So when you're ready, downward facing dog. Plant your palms, step your feet back. Now your hands and your upper arms are going to feel super engaged because we've already done a lot of work to engage them. Keep those 10 fingers spread wide, push through the palms, send the chest up and back. See if you can find more height to your hips using that strength and engagement we've already created in the upper body. Big breath in. Big breath out. With your inhale, lift your heels up. With your exhale, take your tailbone towards the backs of your knees. So your low belly lifts, your low back rounds. And then round the upper back to roll forward to plank pose, stacking your shoulders over your wrists and flattening out the spine as you arrive here. Take a breath in. Exhale, drop both heels over to the right. Push down through both edges of your feet. Can you lift your right hip up to the height of your right armpit so you feel the right side body abs engage, your obliques? And then draw your right shoulder blade down the back body so you're pulling the shoulder head away from your right earlobe. From here, inhale, left arm goes high into a side plank. Option always to drop down the bottom knee if you need a little bit more support here. That's totally fine. Whatever's on the floor, push down. That right hip is lifting up as high as it'll go. Big breath in. Lift your left leg to hover. Exhale, take your left knee towards your armpit or towards the chest. Big step up to the top of the mat. Maybe the foot only gets halfway there. That's okay. Once the foot lands, you can walk it to the top of the mat. Pick your back heel up. Both fingertips come down to steady yourself. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Push through both feet. Inhale, rise, high lunge. Put a little bend in both knees. Let your hips sink down. Front knee drifts forward in space. Inhale, lift your low belly. Reach up through the fingertips. Exhale, bring your palms down. Step back, downward facing dog. Breathe in through the nose. Breathe out through the nose. Inhale, lift your heels. Hook your tailbone towards the backs of your knees. Lead with the back of the heart into plank pose. Keep your shoulders stacked over your wrists, elbow creases pointing forward, webbing between thumb and index finger pushing down. Drop both heels over to the left. Before you go any further, push down through the feet. Left hip lifts up really, really high. Slide your left shoulder away from your ear. It might even feel like the chest is pulling towards the top of the mat. Lean into that feeling. Inhale, right arm goes up for side plank. Option to drop your bottom knee down if you like. Stay lifted through the hips. Core engaged. Inhale, hover the right leg up off the floor. Exhale, pull the right knee towards the right armpit, and then slow, steady step the right foot towards the top of the mat. Both hands come down. Take a breath in. Breath out. Steady the legs. Tear the mat apart as if you were going to split it apart between your feet. That's how much you're pushing the feet in opposite directions. Inhale, rise, high lunge. Exhale, bend both knees, sink the hips, front knee drifts forward. Inhale, low belly lifts, get tall through the side bodies. Exhale, bring the palms down, step back, downward facing dog. Same flow, just like that. Inhale, lift the heels. Exhale, hook the tailbone. Inhale, round forward plank. Exhale, drop your heels to the right. Inhale, left arm goes high, lift your hips. Exhale, bring the left knee to the chest. Step the left foot to the top of the mat. Now this time we go right up. Inhale, high lunge, push through the feet, both arms to the sky. Exhale, bring the palms down to the floor, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your heels. Round right forward into plank pose, but think about tailbone towards the backs of the knees as you come forward. Exhale, both heels fall to the left. Inhale, right arm high. Exhale, right knee towards the armpit, step it up to the top of the mat. Push through the feet. Inhale, high lunge, go straight up. Exhale, bring the palms down, step back, downward facing dog. Same flow, then we add on at the end. Inhale, lift your heels, round forward to plank. Exhale, heels fall to the right. Inhale, left arm reaches high, hips lift. Exhale, left knee to the chest, and then step to the top of the mat. Inhale, high lunge, we go straight up. Now put a little bend in both knees. Breathe in, lift your heart up. This is going to be a funky transition, so stick with me. We're actually going to move back in space. I know normally here it makes sense to step forward, but we're going to step back. So think about driving down through your front heel really strongly. Keep a bend in the back knee. Take a breath in. Exhale, push off of your front foot. One leg Tadasana, right leg is standing back of the mat. Let's do that again. If it was messy, that's okay. It usually is that first time. We're going to try again. Left foot forward lunge. Deep bend in the front knee, deep bend in back knee. Big breath in. Exhale, drive your front heel down, push back, one leg Tadasana. Woo, there we go. Inhale, bend your standing leg, and it's a slow ride to chair pose. Sinking low. Think tailbone towards the backs of your knees. So even rounded through the low back and lifting through the low belly here. Left foot lands next to right. Take a big breath in chair. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, keep a bend in the knees. Halfway lift, lengthen out of your low back. Exhale, walk the hands back out, downward facing dog. Same flow, other side. Inhale, lift your heels, roll forward to plank. Exhale, drop your heels to the left. Inhale, right arm high, hips lift. Exhale, right knee to chest. Step the right foot to the top of the mat. Inhale, high lunge. Both knees bend. Take another breath here. Pull your low belly back as you pull the right knee into your chest. Woo! Nice. Inhale, slow ride to chair. Bend your standing leg. Hook your tailbone down towards the back of your knees. This right knee comes in towards the chest as the low belly lifts and you sit deeper, landing in chair. One breath in chair. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, walk your hands back out, downward facing dog. Same flow, we add on at the end. Inhale, lift your heels, round forward to plank. Exhale, heels fall right. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, left knee to chest. Step the left foot through. Inhale, drive through the feet, lift up, high lunge. Both knees bend. Exhale, push off the front foot, step back, one leg Tadasana. Inhale, slow ride to chair. Exhale, land, fall a little bit more, sit to your sitting bones, weight in the heels. Now we're going to turn it up. Take a breath in. Exhale, hinge from the hips. Bring your palms down to the floor, about 2 feet in front of your toes. Now, hinge forward, lifting your heels up, bringing shoulders to stack over the wrist. Now, you might need to crawl the hands out a little bit further. We want to come back to that bear pose that we started class with. So your knees are hovering, inner thighs squeezing, upper back is strong. Inhale, bend your elbows back. Little chaturanga. Elbows are squeezing together. Think heart forward, look forward. With the exhale, straighten the arms, push the floor away. Can you come right back up to a chair? Let's do that again. Inhale. Exhale, hinge from the hips. Bring the palms down to the floor. Walk it out to bear pose. Knees hover, shoulders stack over wrists. Now from here, chaturanga the arms. Bring the chest forward. Look forward. Exhale, step your right foot outside the right hand. Step your left foot outside of the left hand and sit down into Malasana squatters pose. So knees are wide, toes turn out, low back is sinking down, and you're lifting up tall through the entire spine. Take a breath. Let it go. So Malasana is typically the pose that we use. Malasana is typically the pose that we use to come into crow pose. That's what we're going to do from here. We're going to come into a little bit of crow prep. We're not going full crow, so don't get nervous. If you are newer to crow, you can always reach for a block here and place it at the top of your mat on the tall setting. And this is here for your forehead. You can place your forehead on this block if you like more support. I'm going to leave it there for now. I don't know if I'll use it. We'll kind of see as we get into it. So let's talk about common mistakes in crow, or ways that you can make this entrance stronger so that when you lift your feet up, it's a little bit easier. So let's start with hand placement. A lot of times when we come into crow pose, we plant our palms really far ahead of us here in Malasana. Now, notice what happens. If I have the hands really far forward and then I lean forward, notice how low I am to the ground. This is not going to give me a lot of lift. So instead, we're going to bring the hands closer to the feet. Think about hands almost right underneath the shoulders, exactly as they land, right on the floor, right? If you extend your arms straight down from your shoulders, they come right underneath you. This is where we're going to start. Spread all 10 fingers wide, elbow creases point forward. Now from here, instead of leaning really far forward, lift your hips up. Get your hips really high, and notice the difference already. My crow is already going to be much higher just because I started with my hands closer to my feet. All right, Squeeze your fingertips. So let your fingers lift up off the floor, but the tips of the fingers stay pushing down, and the knuckles behind the fingers are still pushing down as well. If you took my foundational crow class, we talked about this a lot. If you're like, I don't know what you're talking about, you might go back and take that class right now. Look at your forearms. Try to bring them to stack over your wrists. You might need to lean further forward. This might be the time that you want to place your brow on the block in front of you, right? If you're feeling nervous already here, block is there to help you so that it takes some of the fear out of this. We're not going all the way up into crow. Stick with me. We're almost through this prep. One more thing here. Squeeze your fingertips. Lean forward. Take your chest forward. Inner thighs hug together. And then can you pick up your right foot and just hug it to your glute? Squeeze. Now your knee is driving down into your tricep. Push the right palm into the floor a little bit more. Can you drive the tricep back up into the knee? Hold. Low belly on for 3, 2, and 1. Stay in this shape. Your left foot, your free foot, can you step that all the way to the back of the mat? Woo-hoo-hoo. Inhale, take the right leg up and back. 3-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knee and open the right hip, letting right heel fall towards your sitting bone. Breathe in. Exhale, downward facing dog. We're going to take that whole thing to the other side. So inhale, lift your heels, round forward to plank. Exhale, drop your heels to the left. Inhale, right arm goes up. Exhale, right knee to the chest. Step the right foot to the top of the mat. Inhale, rise straight up, high lunge. Exhale, push off of your front foot. Step back into one leg Tadasana. Inhale, slow ride to chair. Tailbone towards the backs of your knees. Inhale, chair. Exhale, hinge from the hips. Bring your hands down to the floor. Walk it out to bear pose. So knees hover, shoulders are over the wrists. Now bend your elbows, chaturanga the arms. Inhale. Exhale, push the floor away. Rise back up to chair. Woo. Inhale, bend your knees. Hinge from the hips. Bring the palms down. Walk it out. Bear pose. Chaturanga the arms. Think chest forward. Think heart forward as you lean. Exhale, step your left foot to the outside of the left hand. Step your right foot to the outside of the right hand. Sit the hips down. Malasana. Inhale. Let's get into the prep. Bring the hands down directly underneath the shoulders. All 10 fingers spread wide. Webbing between thumb and index fingers pressing down. Elbow creases point forward. Now lift your hips up. Block at the top of the mat if you like it there. Now we're going to talk about 2 differences in how people do crow pose. So oftentimes when you're a beginner in crow pose, a lot of teachers will cue to bring the knees to the outsides of the triceps, right? You're hugging the inner knees into the outer shoulders. This is great. This is a great way to feel the engagement of the arms and the legs together and feel the core turn on. However, oftentimes this means that your crow pose stays low to the ground. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. Okay, we bring hands close, knees are on the outsides of the triceps. We lift the hips up, lean forward. Oh no, it feels like my face is going to hit the floor in just about an inch and my feet are not going to lift up. It's not a lot of lift. So I do recommend that instead of knees on the outsides of the triceps, you bring knees to the backs of the triceps. So as you lift the hips up right now, my arms are inside my thighs. And then when I lift my hips up, I bring the knees to the backs of the triceps here, okay? So try that today. Notice how everything's squeezing into the midline. Everything arms and legs a little bit closer together is going to give you a little bit more lift, okay? Just keep that in mind. From here, hips are lifted, knees on backs of triceps. A lot of people like to look down in crow, but notice what that's doing as I look down. My face goes closer to the floor. We tend to go where our eyes are looking. So instead of looking down and feeling like the head's going to go into the floor, can you look forward? Forward, because that's where we want the chest to go. That's where we want the body to go to release the weight from the feet. So stretch the neck. Draw your chin forward. Lead with your chin. From here, hug your left heel to your glute. Hold. Inner elbows squeeze together. Inner knees squeeze together to give you more lift. We hold for 3, 2, and 1. Keep your left heel hugging to your glute. Step your right foot back. Ooh, inhale, left leg high, 3-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knee, open the hip. Breathe in, lift that knee a little higher. Exhale, downward facing dog. We're going to do that same flow. We're going to do it breath to movement. We're not adding anything on this time, okay? We're just going breath to movement. Inhale, lift your heels, round forward plank. Exhale, drop your heels to the right. Inhale, left arm high. Exhale, left knee to chest. Step it through, top of mat. Inhale, high lunge, both knees bend. Exhale, push off, one leg Tadasana, back of mat. Inhale, slow ride to chair. Exhale, bring the palms down, find bear pose. Inhale, bend the elbows, chaturanga the arms, chest forward, look forward, lead with your chin, like we do in crow. Exhale, push off, chair pose. One more time. Inhale, crawl it out to bear, knees hover the whole way. Bend the elbows light. Exhale, step the right foot to the outside of the right hand, left foot outside left hand. Inhale, Malasana, heart lifts. Exhale, plant the palms underneath your shoulders. Inhale, lift your hips. Exhale, lean forward. Chin reaches forward. Hug right heel to glute. Take a breath in. Exhale, step your left foot back. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, bend the knee, open the hip. Inhale. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, lift your heels, roll forward plank. Exhale, heels to the left. Inhale, right arm high. Exhale, right knee to chest. Step the right foot through, top of mat. Inhale, high lunge, rise. Exhale, push off through the front foot. Step back, one leg Tadasana. Inhale, chair pose, bend your standing legs. Sink, right foot meets left. Exhale, bring the hands to the mat. Crawl it forward, bear pose. Chaturanga the arms, elbows hugging and chin leading. Exhale, push off. Maybe you gotta walk it back to chair. That's okay, it happens sometimes. Inhale, bring it down. Walk it out, bear pose, chaturanga the arms. Left foot to the outside of left hand, right foot outside of right hand. Inhale, Malasana, lift your spine up tall. Exhale, plant your palms under your shoulders. Inhale, lift your hips, knees, triceps. Exhale, lean forward, chin leads the way. Inhale, left heel to the glute. Exhale, step your right foot back. Inhale, left leg high, three-legged. Exhale, bend the knee, open the hip. Breathe in. Exhale, downward facing dog. We're going to add on one more time. Inhale, lift your heels, round a plank, lead with the back of the heart. Exhale, heels fall right. Inhale, left arm up, side plank. Exhale, left knee to chest, step it through. Inhale, high lunge, rise. Both knees bend. Exhale, push off, step back, one leg Tadasana. Inhale, bend your standing leg, chair pose. Exhale, bear, hands to the floor. Inhale, chaturanga. Exhale, push off, back to chair. Inhale, hands down, walk it out, bear pose. Chaturanga the arms. Exhale, right foot and then left outside the hands. Inhale, Malasana. Exhale, plant your palms. Inhale, lift your hips, knees to the backs of the triceps. Exhale, lead with your chin, look forward. Lean, lean, lean. Inhale, right heel to the glute, lift it up. Exhale, left foot steps back. Inhale, right leg high, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knee, open the hip. Big breath in, right knee lifting high. Exhale, knee to nose, step the right foot to the top of the mat. Here's where we're adding on. All right, come up onto your fingertips, take your chest forward. Step your back foot to the top of the mat, but you're gonna cross it behind your right ankle. So left foot behind right. Bring your pinkies to a line, both heels pressing down, bend your knees. Inhale, chair pose, arms go up. Exhale, cactus the arms. We take right elbow underneath left. So like we're an eagle, but both feet are on the floor now. Breathe in, lift your elbows up. Exhale, take elbows to your knees. Spread the upper back wide as you try to tear the elbows apart. From here, we lift back up, straighten the legs, open the arms in a big circle. Exhale, drop right hand to right hip. We lean to the left for a side body stretch. Inhale, lift back up to the sky. Exhale, hinge from your hips and fold forward. Bend your knees as much as you need to. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend your knees and lift your heels up. We're going for crow pose. Plant your palms directly underneath your shoulders. Spread your fingers, elbow creases wrap forward. Now bend your knees, sink your hips a little bit lower so that you feel your knees split wide. Knees come onto the backs of the triceps. Take your chin forward, look forward, keep your ankles hooked. So as you lean forward, what I like about this variation is that you can't let your legs or elbows get too wide because your ankles are hooked. This variation keeps everything hugging into the center line. It keeps everything holding in. It gives you a lot of lift so that you're not as worried about your face breaking on the floor, that you can get your hips up. When you remove that fear, when you keep a lot of lift up underneath you, it prevents you from feeling like you're going to fall on your face, and it actually gives you an opportunity to get those feet up. So give it an attempt. Hands underneath the shoulders, fingers spread wide, elbows hugging in, knees, backs of triceps. Ankles are hooked. Try to tear the feet apart in opposite directions and see if that gives you a little bit of lift through the toes. Take a breath in. Squeeze your fingertips. Exhale. Jump the feet back short. Land with bent knees. And then walk the feet back, downward facing dog. That is the end of the sequence. We're going to go for the other side. Inhale, lift your heels, roll forward to plank. Exhale, heels to the left. Inhale, right arm high. Exhale, right knee to the armpit. Step it to the top of the mat. Inhale, rise, high lunge, both knees bend. Exhale, push off the front foot, one leg Tadasana. Inhale, slow sit to chair. Exhale, palms down, walk it out, bear. Inhale, chaturanga, chest leading the way. Exhale, push up. Back up to chair, inhale. Exhale, bear pose. Inhale, chaturanga. Exhale, left foot then right, outside of the hands. Inhale, malasana. Exhale, palms down. Inhale, lift your hips. Exhale, lean forward, drawing forward through the chin. Inhale, left heel squeezes to the glute. Exhale, right foot steps back of mat. Inhale, left leg high, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knee, open the hip. Big breath in, lift that left knee higher. Exhale, knee to nose, step the left foot through between the palms. Right foot steps up behind the left ankle, crossing. Pinky toes connect. Both heels press down. Both knees bend. Inhale, chair. Exhale, cactus the arms. We go left elbow underneath right. Inhale, lift the elbows. Exhale, tap your elbows to your kneecaps. Keeping a deep bend in the knees. Inhale into the upper back. Try to tear the elbows apart. Now inhale, we rise, straighten the legs, arms release, circle down, around, and all the way up to the sky. Exhale, left hand drops to the side body. Inhale, right arm goes up and over for a big side body stretch. Inhale, reach back up. Exhale, bend your knees lightly, fold forward, hands come down underneath the shoulders. Inhale, elevate your heels. Bend your knees and split the knees wide so they're landing on the backs of the triceps. Now look forward, squeeze your fingertips. Try to tear the feet apart. Both feet can still be on the floor, but try tearing the feet apart and see if that can maybe give you a little bit of lift off the floor through the toes. Breathe in. Exhale, land with bent knees, short down dog. Downward facing dog, feet walk back. We're doing that whole sequence through breath to movement. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Let's do it. Inhale, heels lift, round to plank. Exhale, heels fall right. Inhale, left arm high. Exhale, left knee to chest. Step it to the top of the mat. Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, one leg Tadasana, back of mat. Inhale, slow sit to chair. Exhale, bring the hands down, walk it out, bear pose. Inhale, chaturanga. Exhale, push off back to chair. Woo-hoo. Inhale, walk it out, bear. Chaturanga. Exhale, right foot, outside right hand, left foot, outside left hand. Inhale, malasana. Exhale, palms down. Inhale, lift your hips, knees to backs of triceps. Exhale, lean forward, look forward, squeeze your fingertips. Inhale, right heel to glute. Exhale, left foot steps to the back of the mat. Inhale, right leg high, three-legged. Exhale, bend the knee, open the hip. Inhale here. Exhale, knee to nose, step the right foot through. Left foot crosses behind. Inhale, rise, chair pose. Exhale, cactus the arms, right elbow under left, elbows tap the knee. Inhale, circle the arms down, around, and up as you rise up. Exhale, right palm falls to the side, body lean to the right. Inhale, reach back up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, plant the palms, lift your heels. Exhale, bend your knees, split them wide, bend the elbows, knees, backs of triceps. Inhale, try to tear the feet in opposite directions. Exhale, jump back, short down dog. Inhale, downward facing dog. Exhale, let it go. Final round. Inhale, lift your heels, roll forward plank. Exhale, heels fall left. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, right knee to chest. Right foot steps to the top of the mat. Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, push through the front foot, step back, one leg Tadasana. Inhale, slow rise to chair. Slow ride to chair. Exhale, hands down. Walk it out, bear. Inhale, chaturanga. Exhale, push up chair. Inhale, bring it down. Walk it out. Chaturanga. Exhale, left foot, right foot. Inhale, malasana. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, hips lift, heels lift. Exhale, look forward, lean forward. Inhale, left heel leaves the floor. Exhale, right foot to the back of the mat. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, bend the knee, open the hip. Breathe in. Exhale, knee to nose, step it through. Right foot steps behind left. Bend both of your knees. Inhale, chair pose. Left elbow underneath right for eagle. Breathe in. Exhale, elbows tap the knee. Inhale, circle the arms down, around, and up as you rise. Exhale, left hand falls, reach to the left. Inhale to the sky. Exhale, hinge and fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, plant the palms, lift your heels. Exhale, bend your knees, split the knees wide. Inhale, lean your chin forward. Try to tear the feet apart in opposite directions while keeping them hooked. Maybe they lift. Exhale, jump back, knees bent. Inhale, down dog. Exhale, down dog. One more big breath in. Exhale, walk your hands back towards your feet, and let's find gorilla pose to release the wrists. So tuck your palms underneath your feet, your toes to your wrist creases. Bend your knees, let your torso connect to your thighs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, pull up on your feet, drop your head. Don't worry about straightening the legs. Once you've folded, think about lifting your sitting bones to the sky. Big breaths. And if you want more wrist release, your elbows are bent out to the sides right now. Carve semicircles back towards your shins. Maybe you can even get the elbows to tap the shins here. One more big breath in. Big sigh out. Release your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, walk it back out, downward facing dog. Drop your knees to the earth. Bring your big toes to touch, knees slightly wider. Walk yourself back, sit back on your heels. Now, we've done a lot of pulling knees into the chest, a lot of deep hip and deep knee flexion, which is what we need for crow pose, but we're going to stretch that out. So bring your hands back behind you. Fingertips can point towards the sides of the mat, or they can face the back of the mat. Squeeze your glutes. Think about pushing your groin up towards the ceiling. Inhale, push your shins down, lift your hips up. Push down through the palms, lift your chest up, lift your rib cage up. Couple of breaths exposing the heart and the hip flexors in this little mini camel pose. Final breath in. Exhale, release your hips down. Walk your hands back up. Set your hips to one side, swing your legs around in front of you. All right. To finish off this heart opening and releasing of the front body, we're going to end class laying back on our blocks today. So we'll set one block on the medium setting, perpendicular, so going the same direction as our spine is going. We'll set another block about 6 inches behind it, perpendicular to it. This is going to catch the head. Soles of the feet on the floor, bring your hands behind you to find that first block. As you lay back, you can slide that block around. You want the bottom tips of your shoulder blades, about where a sports bra line is on your back. You want that to land on the block. The block aligns with the center of the spine, and then drop the head onto the second block. Arms open wide, palms turn up. Option to keep soles of the feet on the floor, or you can extend them long. If you're experiencing low back pain, that means that the block is too low. You need to slide the block that's on your shoulders up towards your head a little bit. And then deep breaths. And then remembering that we are not defined by the work we have done on the mat. Instead, we're defined by the quality of this moment. The physical practice is just meant to clear space in the head so that when we are finished with our practice, we can lay here a little bit more at peace than we were at the start of our practice. If your body's asking to stay longer here, please give yourself that. If you're ready to come out with me, slide the soles of the feet back to the floor if you move them. And then very gently begin to lift the arms overhead so your biceps are towards your ears. I say to go slowly because this is going to change the stretch on your shoulders a lot. So go gently, go carefully. Once the arms are extended overhead, drop your knees to one side or the other. And then both arms come down to that side to help you roll off of the blocks. Rest for a moment laying on your side, reflecting on what came up for you in the course of this practice. Gently press down through the palms and meet me in a comfortable seat. Bring the hands to heart center. We end with gratitude. Our bodies did a lot of work today, so we're grateful for the body. Our breath is what carried us through, though. So we have some gratitude for the breath. But none of that would have happened if we hadn't made the space to come to our mat. So most of all, we're grateful for the ways that we take care of ourselves. Inhale, thumbs up to the third eye between the brows. As you exhale, offer your gratitude and your peace. We bow forward in reverence to each other. Together we say, Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me for class today. I hope you're walking away feeling a little bit stronger, a little bit more lifted, and a little bit more rooted in your crow pose. If you like this class, please let me know. I would love to hear your feedback. And until we meet on the mat again soon, namaste.